What's good? It's Extreme Caution. Time for my official WWE Survivor Series predictions. Finna go over every match on the card, what I think of every single match, what I think of the potential feuds, what I could think leading after every single match. If you like daily wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe because I upload daily wrestling content. I'm gonna go and jump straight into the predictions. The first match I want to start off with is the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella. This feud hasn't really been going on for that long. I feel like it only been going on for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks max. We ended up just getting Nikki Bella attacking Stephanie Vaquer. Her reasoning was basically that she's tired of being Stephanie. She didn't come back to WWE to be her sidekick, and that she's coming back to reclaim her throne at the top, basically, and to take over the women's division. They haven't really built up towards this feud that much but I don't really know what else they could really do to really make me that interested in the feud. The match should be fine. I don't know where we go from here. I'm assuming Stephanie will retain her. There's just no world. Well, there is a world where I think Nikki Bella can win, and I don't want to live in that reality where she is world champion. Look, I don't hate Nikki Bella at all. She's not my favorite, but I have been enjoying her run in the WWE a lot more than I thought I would. But she should not be beating Stephanie Vaquer. She really shouldn't. But nonetheless, the match should be fine. It should be an entertaining match. I don't know where we go from here though, because all the opponents that Stephanie could potentially face potentially could be rivaling her after this feud is over, because I'm assuming Wargames is the big blow-off match to end majority of the rivalries, or they could continue it now that I think about it, because I don't know if the whole Kabuki Warriors storyline is really going to end with Rhea and Io after this match. Same with Becky Lynch and AJ. So really, they could continue this rivalry now that I think about it, because they probably still going to have Rhea and all of them still be busy. And plus, they're probably not going to do any of those big matches until probably WrestleMania, most likely. So they may end up having Stephanie win here, have Nikki Bella attack her next week, and then continue on until the Royal Rumble, most likely. But nonetheless, this should be entertaining. I just hope that if they are going to continue this rivalry, hopefully they actually put some more effort into it, have some more promos, have some more segments to really build this rivalry. Because if they're just going to do what they just done recently, then this should be a one and done. But I think Stephanie Vaquer will retain and remain your Women's World Heavyweight Champion. Moving on to the Men's Intercontinental Championship match between John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. The recent match they had for the IC title was a solid overall match. This match, I don't expect it to be that much different. Now, they will get more TV time due to it being on a PLE. Now, this is in Dominic Mysterio's hometown, so there are some factors here. I do think there is a possible chance that Rey Mysterio could interfere in this match to help John Cena win, or you could have the Judgment Day help have Dominic, but they also been telling the story of Dominic doing things on his own. So I don't know if the Judgment Day are going to help, because they've been telling the story of Dominic doing things on his own and the Judgment Day not helping him. So they could have Dominic try to cheat, Rey Mysterio interferes, help John Cena retain. Now, this is a situation where this is good either way, because you can have John Cena lose. This elevates Dominic Mysterio becoming IC champion again, become double champ, while also allowing John Cena to go into his final match without the championship. Because if Gunther is going to be his final opponent, which most likely it is, Gunther doesn't really need the IC championship. And I'm going to be honest, I do not want to see that. I love Gunther, I do. But I do not want to see another IC title reign from Gunther, mainly because I kind of want the IC title to be more for talent that kind of needs it right now. I feel like there's other guys who could be using the IC title to elevate themselves. Where Gunther is already established, he should be in the world title scene. Now, I don't have a problem with main eventers going for the IC title. I just feel like there's other wrestlers on Raw that I'd rather see with the IC title than Gunther, like a Sheamus, like a Russo. Even Dominic, I would personally like with the IC title. Well, if they actually build some story around it, I would like it more. Penta is another guy I would like holding the IC championship. Potentially even LA Knight, since they're probably not going to put a world title. Give him the IC championship. Like, there's other guys I'd rather have than someone like Gunther. So if they put it on Dom, I actually wouldn't mind it. But if Dom loses her, this doesn't hurt him at all. It actually fits with his character, with him being that Weasley heel that typically can't win clean. So if he loses to John Cena, it's not really that big of a deal either. So you could really go either way here. But I do think John Cena will retain her, and I do think Rey Mysterio will interfere in some way. Because if you're going to have Dom here, you got to have Rey Mysterio here. It's San Diego. It's their hometown. So I think it makes sense for Rey Mysterio to interfere in this match. Maybe the Judgment Day interfere, but I think it's going to be a moment where Dom tries to use the championship of some sort, where Rey comes out, ends up interfering, ends up costing Dom the match, and have John Cena retain as the Intercontinental Champion. Now we get the Women's Wargames match. The babyface team, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee, versus the heel Wargames team, Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and the Kabuki Warriors. This is, I would say it's very interesting, but I'm not even gonna try to act like this is some like crazy, like hard prediction. The babyface teams are winning. It's not even that hard to predict. They're winning. I'm sorry. The babyface teams typically win war games, and also too, you're not gonna convince me that AJ Lee, who has barely wrestled, is going to lose her one of her matches before she has, because they're clearly teasing the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee feud. I'm assuming this is going to lead into WrestleMania most likely. They're not going to have AJ Lee lose before then. They're just not, unless you're going to have Becky Lynch pin her in this situation, which I will actually like, which will actually make the feud more entertaining if I'm making. But I just have a hard time believing it, because you have a team of AJ Lee, who is going to be heavily protected due to her being a babyface and a fan favorite. Rhea Ripley, who is also going to be heavily protected, and then Io Sky, who is also heavily protected. I'm sorry. Then you have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus heels who aren't the most protected outside of Becky Lynch, because Asuka isn't that protected for the most part. Same with Kairi Sane. They're willing to allow them to lose cleanly. And then you have Nia Jax, who is kind of protected to a degree, but they also allow her to lose cleanly, but typically it takes a lot for her to go down. And then Lash Legend, who is new. I just don't see a world where they beat the babyface team. I just have a hard time. Because the only time Io Sky and Rhea Ripley ever lose is by cheating. So it's like, and you can't cheat in a War Games match. So I just have a hard time believing that they're going to have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, AJ Lee lose cleanly. I just have a hard time believing that. The only way I can see them losing is if Becky Lynch pins AJ Lee, because I don't see the Kabuki Warriors pinning Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. I just don't see that. Now, where this could lead moving forward, I honestly don't know. I'm assuming the whole Nia Jax Lash Legend thing, they're going to do their own thing. Probably be in a tag team division. I think that makes the most sense. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, I'm assuming one of them probably turns heel. Or they probably do their own thing in a singles thing. But they could go after the tag titles again. But honestly, just put them on SmackDown single stars, please. Because the SmackDown division desperately needs them. As for AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, I think they're going to continue that rivalry. Whether Becky Lynch or AJ pin each other, I think they're going to continue that feud all the way to the Royal Rumble into WrestleMania. I think that's going to be a Mania feud. Now, for the Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, I'm assuming they're going to go after the tag team titles. I think after this match, they're going to go after the tag team titles, complete the feud, dethrone them, and then hold the tag team titles probably sometime into Royal. I don't think they're going to hold them long, because I think they're going to run a program between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the World Heavyweight Championship eventually. I think they're going to eventually be back in the world title scene. So eventually, they're going to probably lose the titles, or they could be double champs and just have them, or they could be champions and just have them go after singles gold while holding championship. Because WWE has a weird thing with doing that too, having tag teams go after singles gold for whatever reason. But they could do that as well. So, but the babyface teams are winning this War Games match for the women. Now for the men's War Games match, which I'm assuming is probably going to be the main event, you got the babyface team of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and the Usos versus the heel team of The Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Brock Lesnar. Again, this is a similar situation where I think the men's babyface team is going to win. And I think you have more options of who to pin in the men's War Games match. Because for one, on the heel side, you have two guys. You have Logan Paul, who is obviously going to take the pin here, or you're going to have Drew McIntyre take the pin here. If Seth Rollins was still world champion, I would actually believe the Vision has a chance, because most likely Seth Rollins would have still been world champ by now. So you would have had one world champion on the heel side and one world champion on the babyface side. And it actually would have made more sense for Cody Rhodes to actually be in this goddamn feud, because he has problems with Seth Rollins through the Crown Jewel in their history. But since Seth Rollins isn't here, I just have a hard time believing it. Now, they do have a huge X factor in Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar is more of a part-timer, and he's more of an on and off thing. So him being here, it doesn't really, I don't know if that really changes much. Where on the babyface team, you have CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, who are way heavily protected, who only lose matches if they get cheated. So I don't know how they're going to lose here. And then they're both world champions. It's like, come on, you have both your babyface world champions. Now, they did this last year, if I'm not mistaken, with heels, but that's the difference. They're heels. Heels typically need to cheat to win. And it had Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, two of some of the most least credible world champions for the most part. So, yeah, I just have a hard time believing that they're going to have their face of the company and Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, both baby faces, lose. I just have a hard time believing in that. Plus, when you have Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, both guys who are going to take pins, because there's no one, the only people I can see taking a pin on the babyface team are the Usos, but I just don't see it. Now, you could tell a story if the babyface lose. You could tell the story of potentially Roman getting more frustrated at the Usos, Jay continuing his thing, going down the darker path. Now, if the heels win, the only story to really tell is division. That's the only thing that matters is division. They continue to elevate, continue to, become a bigger faction, and eventually Braun Breaker becomes the face of the company whenever they decide to pull the trigger. But nonetheless, I think the babyface team of the men's War Games is going to win here. Overall, I am somewhat excited for Survivor Series. I do think it's a little bit interesting, but you guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.